Andreas Giorgio here for MMA Plus post-fight at Cage Warriors 86. And Joe McColgan just went out there and had a fight of the night with Sean Carter. You came out with the split decision. One judge gave it 30-27, so he saw it all in your favour. Do you think you took all 3 rounds?
It's hard to tell when you're in the fight, but if I was being critical, I would give the first to me, the second to Sean, and the third definitely to me. The first and the third definitely to me. I mean, you could probably argue either way with the second, but I mean, I could watch it back and I'll give you a better opinion, but no, I feel like the judges give me the right call.
He's the kind of guy that has had one of those careers where massive upstart, and then he's just come up against some really tough guys, and he's not had the results that he was able to replicate early on in his career. Were you still coming into this fight and expecting to see the best Sean Carter here in London?
Absolutely. Every time I face someone, I'm always expecting the best, even better than what they can be. I'm expecting it, and that's what makes me train as hard as I train, and that's what allows me to perform the way I perform. Sean Carter's a tough guy. Whenever we were doing our research on Sean, we could see strikers getting the better of him, but still trying to take him down, and we couldn't quite put our finger on why that was. And I know now, he's as tough as they come. He'll eat your shots, and he'll laugh at you, and he'll come forward, and that's intimidating. But I was ready to stand on the feet for 15 minutes and just let the hands go. Actually, there was a couple of times where I did not try to take him down, but to press the action against the cage and slow him down a bit, allow me to recover. And I think that was the difference, really, allowing me to get my composure back and then go back to lighten him up on the feet. But I mean, I put him down twice in the first round, and then I was landing clean, but he was landing clean as well. It's just that, you know, I don't like that, and my boxing coach was already, before I'd even walked out the cage, he let me know what I was doing wrong, and that was leaning in. I was too far over the front foot, so I couldn't get back out, and that was because I was heavy with my right hand. As soon as you land something clean, you want to land it every time, and then you just focus so much on it instead of being flowy with your shots. So that's, you know, these are all wee small details, small learnings that I'll not make those mistakes again, and my next performance will be a lot crisper.
In terms of analysing previous performances, you know, especially against Quero as well, and I think Sean Carter kind of replicated that. When he put you on the back foot, that's when, you know, you definitely had to dig deep, and we had to see a different Joe McColgan in that regard. Do you, obviously, you know, you prefer to be in control, but what is it? Because we saw it in Quero fight, and we saw it a little bit tonight. At the beginning of the fight, as soon as he came forward, you struggled to find your composure for about 30 to 45 seconds. Was it just literally just weathering the storm and then finding the best that Sean Carter had to offer at that point?
I don't even want to compare myself to the Quero performance. That was 20% of what I could be. My whole weight cut for that fight was atrocious. My rehydration was atrocious. So I went out and I was just absolutely shite. There were elements of my performance that mirrored what happened tonight. But I think you do hit the nail on the head there. It was more trying to figure him out, weathering the early storm. I just couldn't assess his range because he was landing with his range, so it was hard to, you know, make that assessment while getting hit. So I was just trying to figure things out, and I was trying to figure out my own range as well. Remember, that was my 5th pro fight. That was his 17th. You know, it's his 8th performance. He's had more performances on Cage Warriors that I've had in my entire career. So do you know what I mean? It's a big ask, but I'm ready for it, and it's more learnings in the bank for me. I'll not make the same mistakes, and I'll go out and my next performance will be a lot more clinical.
We saw you get on top of the cage and you made the signal. You want that title belt. The division right now is interesting. Of course, Chris Fishgold's going to be defending the belt against Jakobsen, and then also you've got Martin Stapleton, going up against Soren Bak. For you, how do you see yourself fit into that? Because obviously you feel like you deserve to be up there with them.
Yeah, I mean, 5 fights. I've taken on the best in Europe, and there's 4 grapplers there at the top of the list on Cage Warriors. I'm the only striker out of the 4 of them. Let me let the hands go on one of them. You know, I feel like I'm ready for that title shot now. Like I said in my previous interview, they're all fighting in October time. Someone's going to win the belt. There's going to be a contender. Someone might go to the UFC. There's a lot of ifs and buts, but there's one thing for sure. There's one guy out there that's rising above the rest, and that's me, and I'm ready for my title shot. And they'll not be fighting before this side of 2017 after their October fight. So maybe something in early 2018, early to mid 2018, that would suit me right down to the ground. And I'd be ready for it.
So you're not expecting to fight again this year?
No, I'm going off to New Zealand now for a year.
Okay.
So the first 4 or 5 months, I'm just going to travel, let the body heal. I've had a lot of fights, 4 fights in a year, 4 hard fights. So I'm going to travel with my girlfriend, enjoy myself, live the dream a bit, and then settle down in somewhere, start training full time, and take a couple of fights. And if the fights are over in New Zealand, then the fights are in New Zealand. If they're over here for a title, they're over here for a title. I'm happy enough either way. But I just feel that if someone's going to get that title shot outside of those 4 grapplers, it's me.
And in terms of being, in New Zealand as well, some potentially will look at it as a disadvantage for you, kind of being outside of the bubble. Is there that potential there that, Joe McColgan may be forgotten about a little bit?
I don't give a fuck. Do you know what? There's more to me than MMA. So if people forget about me, so fuck, I'll come back and take a few more scalps. People will remember me soon enough. So it doesn't bother me. And I'm close with Graham and Ian, like the boys, they're my management team. So I'm sure they're not going to forget about me,
Thank you very much. Cheers.